Check out the latest from the WYXR Podcast Network. Just Bluffin' is a Memphis-centric podcast from Campfire Collective, featuring interviews with Memphis community leaders and more.
The information, the man got an arsenal. Bring you up to speed with what you need. He's the local and nationwide news feed. Let's talk about it. Dialect to do something about it. Shit got the flow wide open if you got questions about it. Man, it's the show that brings you to your raw. To solve all problems, it starts with real talk. Real talk. It's 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 real talk. Yeah. Welcome to Real Talk with your host, Chip Washington. It's real talk. It's real talk. It's real talk.
Go on this Monday evening. Well, it was, we had that mood thing going on. Level Lola is right before this fine piece of radio broadcasting. And have you got your level in yet? Have you done your L square yet? You need to listen to her show. It's 5 to 6 Monday evenings right here before Real Talk Memphis. Our Lola is the host of that show. And I was sitting here, I got here a little early today. And I was just sitting back in the corner, just grooving, and she was playing some really nice music stuff, most of it that I never heard of, but I liked it. So anyway, if you get a chance to check her out, please do so. As for the rest of it, good evening. It's good to see you. It is good to be here. As we were going to play the the theme one more time. It's a great theme, by the way. Anyway, I am your humble host, Chip Washington. Great to be here with you on this Monday evening. We all, and many of us, about 120,000 plus of us, had to deal with that storm that blew through, that powerful storm that blew through last night. At its worst, about 75 or 80 mile an hour straight line winds, and the damage was excessive and it was far reaching. Millington, it may take them quite a while to get back on their feet. They were dead in the center of the bullseye. I live in Bartlett, and we were like a close second to it. Because I tell you what, I lost my back fence, completely blew down. Trees in my neighborhood, big rooted trees, were uprooted, turned over. Of course, at its worst, 120,000 plus people last night were out of power. And MLGW is slowly doing their thing, trying to restore power to many, many people. It's hot outside, too, and it's going to get hotter the next few days. Now, they always give you the worst-case scenario by saying, well, many of us need to plan on being out for, I don't know, maybe, let's say several days, maybe into a week. As of right now, as of this hour, 6 p.m., 74,400 plus folks are without power. So that's a pretty good slice from 120. So MLGW did bring some outside crews in here, plus some local folks, and they are really working to get it done. Of course, I lost power last night, but I was told about an hour ago by my neighbors that the power is back. Now, I'm not bragging on that fact, but I will give a shout out to MLGW. They are doing the best they can with so much damage and a lot of primary damage out there. I pray for each and every one of you who are still in the dark. I pray that your power will be turned on sooner rather than later. So, we'll keep an eye on it for you in terms of the numbers. But, yeah, from 120 to 74, that's a pretty good slice. And MLGW, yeoman's job in terms of that. Now, if you're just tuning in to this fine piece of radio broadcasting and asking yourself, well, how else can I find this show, Chip? Well, we are on live right now, 91.7 on your FM dial. That would be WYXR. We are also available on the WYXR app. You can also catch us on the TuneIn app. We are also on Facebook Live this evening. So if you're out there or planning to join us a little later on, look forward to seeing you out there. And, of course, once the show posts tomorrow evening, you will be able to get it on YouTube. And as we are a podcast, you can get this show wherever you get your podcast. Now, of course, that all depends on your power situation. If you don't have power, you'll have to wait until all that subsides and everything. But in any event, we're very happy to be here. We have a good show lined up for you tonight. Those of you who are can join us either by radio or the other means that I mentioned, always appreciative. SunAh Laybourn is going to be here. Now, if SunAh, the name sounds familiar and you're a listener of WYXR, Let's Grab Coffee is her show. And it was on earlier today. It is a very informative talk show that she has. And she's also an author. She is an associate professor of sociology at the University of Memphis. She's a PhD. She is pretty much done it all. But one of the biggest things that she did, and the reason why I wanted to have her on this show was last month was the first time that we celebrated Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders Heritage Month. That was in May. And we couldn't get together schedule-wise, but I wanted to get her on because she single-handedly put that together and really wanted to let all of us know that Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders do make up a certain segment of the population here, and they bring a lot to the table. And I look forward to having a conversation with her about all of that in just a few minutes. A little bit later on, we'll speak to Thomas Burrell. Thomas is the president of the Black Farmers and Agriculturists Association. We all are familiar with Blue Oval City. That is happening in Haywood County. Of course, it's the largest. It is the largest project of its kind ever here. It's going to employ some 6,000 plus people. They need a lot of land in order to be able to do that. And in terms of that, Thomas and his organization wants to make sure that black farmers who own land and generational land there will be able to get the value for their land and also be able to participate in the growth process of all of this. I mean, there'll be retail stores. Just think about it. There'll be hotels and new home starts and a lot of other, that whole Stanton area will be completely transformed within the next few years. And, he is here to let black farmers know that they do have rights and to be able to get an equitable price for their land and also be involved in the process of the development and the growth of Blue Oval City. And a bit later on, did you know this was Black Music Month? Well, it is Black Music Month. It's almost over, but it is. And one of the organizations that is really shining bright in terms of all of that is MMI, or the Memphis Music Initiative. And one of the things that they're doing, in addition to introducing black and brown children to music and being a part of that whole creative area of talent, is they're participating in something in reference to this. And it has a lot to do with a particular candy bar in terms of being actually you've heard of Kit Kat, right? The Kit Kat bar. Well, they're actually on that label this year, and they will tell us why they're on that label and what it means for all of us here in Memphis. From the Memphis Music Initiative, we'll be speaking with the executive director, Ms. Amber Hamilton. So it's at this time of the show, of course, we give props to you. Many of you are celebrating birthdays or have recently done so. So this is your time to broadcast where we hit you with a nice, big, welcoming shout out. But I can't do that unless I say, hit it, Brent. All right, happy birthday is going out to the following folks on this Monday, the 26th day of June. Terry True celebrating a birthday today. Happy birthday to Rhonda Peters. Rachel Patterson celebrating her birthday today. Happy birthday, Deidre Hathor. To John Corns. Tammy Robinson is celebrating her birthday today. as is Dorshell Spence, Carl Griffin, and a longtime friend back in the Jackson, Mississippi days, commercial appeal days, Mr. Andy Hannengeisler. Each and every one of you out there celebrating, I am congratulations for this trip around the sun, and we hope to be with you next year to celebrate your next trip around the sun. Happy birthday to each and every one of you. Congratulations. Thank you, Bryn. All right, so obviously the big news that all of us are dealing with, or many of us are dealing with, it was the big storm that blew through here last night. It was quick and it was powerful. I was standing out in my back area of my house, just watching this thing start to blow through. And I mean, the winds were just howling, and the lightning and the thunder and the rain. And of course, I watched my fence from one end to the other just get completely stripped. I mean, there is no more fence back there in the back. And a lot of folks in my neighborhood lost fences, as well. Big trees falling, on. But as we all sort of got past the shock of all of this and walked out into our yards and our front yards to kind of landscape to see what was going on, we were all, the first question we all asked each other as neighbors is everybody okay? Did you suffer any property damage? And in my particular area, not so much with that, which was good. But again, a lot of tree damage, a lot of trees down, man. And I'm telling you, it was a really scary sight. Mother Nature, when it gets that fierce, is nothing to play with. And once again, we value the fact that I hadn't heard of any loss of life, but I do know that there are several thousand folks who are still out of power. MLGW is working hard to try to reestablish that power as we tend to move forward. So we'll keep you posted on that. This, by the way, was the 6th worst storm, according to MLGW, in the history of Memphis. The 6th worst. It was pretty bad indeed. Big heat this week, obviously. Low 90s today, progressively moving up as we get into the remainder of this week. By Thursday and Friday, the real temperature, according to the weather folks, will be 100 degrees on both days, which means the increase in humidity will make the heat index feel anywhere from 110 to above. This is very serious stuff, and please don't take it lightly. Pay attention to your neighbors. Watch out for the elderly, members of your family, people in your neighborhood. Please check on them. Make sure that they're okay. Make sure that folks have plenty of water. You stay hydrated as well if you're going to be running around outside for any particular length of time. This is very, very serious and dangerous heat that will do some critical damage to you. Earlier this afternoon, MLGW issued a boil water advisory for northern Shelby County. Now, before you start go crazy, it's not for anything that's in the water. I'll repeat that. It is not about anything that is in the water. It is for the water pressure. The storm has impacted that in terms of many people in terms of the water pressure. So they're wanting folks to try to conserve that as much as they can so they can help to try to build that pressure back up and get things moving and running again. All right, so that takes a quick look at news and notes on this Monday evening. Very happy to have you with us on this edition of Real Talk Memphis. I am Chip. We'll take our first break, and when we come back, we'll get into it. What do you say? We'll be right back.
If you like Real Talk, here's a way you can get involved. Do you have a show topic idea or suggestion? Want to be considered a guest or have a guest idea? Then send Chip a message on his Real Talk show page and you can be a part of the Real Talk experience. So as he always says, go out and tell somebody. We'll be right back.
Support for WYXR comes from Dillard Companies, selling commercial doors, glass, gates, and security products to building owners and property managers for over 75 years. Dillard Companies understand the importance of security and offers products and services to meet the needs of their customers. For small business owners or large corporations, more information is available at dillarddoor.com. WYXR is supported by the Orpheum's 2023-2024 Broadway season, featuring Funny Girl, Beetlejuice, Six, Company, Les Mis, Mrs. Doubtfire, Wicked, and Mamma Mia. More information at orpheum-memphis.com/season. At WYXR, we are committed to uplifting local organizations and businesses who are making an impact in Memphis. If you are looking for ways to spread the word about your business on air and want to support WYXR at the same time, email us at sponsorships@wyxr.org.
Get Real Talk on the TuneIn mobile app under WYXR, and he's now streaming live on Facebook. And you can also catch a rebroadcast on YouTube. Just put WYXR in the search box and hit subscribe. Now back to more Real Talk with Chip Washington.
And welcome back to Real Talk Memphis on this Monday evening, this warm evening in the city. Chip Washington with you. Very happy to have you along for the ride. Now, my first guest is, let me break this down as best I can. She is an author. She is a talk show host. She is an associate professor at the University of Memphis, associate professor of sociology at the University of Memphis. She's also a PhD. And she hosts a radio show on this fine radio station called Let's Grab Coffee, which I think is one of the best titles ever for a show. And more importantly, she basically single-handedly created an event that a lot of us didn't realize, know about, or understand, which is really the history of and the contributions of Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders. And we had that Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month last month. She is SunAh Laybourn, and SunAh, it is good to see you. It is great to have you on the show. How are you doing tonight?
Well, I am so happy to be here. Thanks so much for having me. 2 corrections. I'm an assistant professor of sociology.
Okay, assistant. I'm sorry.
But I will take that promotion
to
associate. Absolutely. So, look, I'm not mad. But technically, assistant professor, SunAh Laybourn, and yes, fellow WYXR I said co-host, but fellow WYXR radio host. Let's Grab Coffee on Mondays as well.
That is exactly correct. I love that. Let's grab coffee and just sit back and talk about things. And you interview a lot of really great folks from all across the country. You talk about a lot of wonderful topics. I enjoy your show. I'm a fan of your show.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So let's talk a little bit about this amazing event that you put on last month. And, I know you're pretty humble, but, this endeavor to really open up the world to the rest of us here in the city of Memphis about the contributions of Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders. What made you take on this endeavor? And, why did you think it was so important?
Yeah, well, Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month has been a national Heritage Month for 30 years. Started off as a week-long celebration almost 2 decades before that. But here in the city of Memphis, we had never had a month-long acknowledgement. We've never had a full month-long celebration. And as someone who grew up in Memphis, as an Asian American, and as someone who moved back to Memphis just 5 years ago, I was like, okay, it's time. Mm-hmm. And to your question, it was time because, of course, with everything that has happened in this world with COVID-19, particularly with the rise in reported incidents of anti-Asian violence, is very much on top of mind. Like yes, we need to know about what's happening in our social world, and definitely we need to be more attuned to racism in any and all of its forms. But there's also a space for celebration as well. So I think that we can do both, right? We need to know what is happening in our world. We need to know how to stop racism in, again, anywhere that we see it, anywhere that it arises, but then also we need spaces to celebrate. And so here in Memphis, we've never had a month-long celebration or really much of an acknowledgement that May is Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month.
That in and of itself is interesting. And you said that it has been around as a national holiday, or national recognition rather, for the past 3 decades. And it has never been recognized here. As you were doing your research and as you were trying to put all this together, did you come up with any reasons as to why there was no real acknowledgement of the Asian American Pacific Islander community?
I think that's a great question. I do not know. I mean, I would venture to say because our local Asian American population has been extremely small in number. So right now, currently, we're still less than 2% of our total city's population. And so thinking about previously, less than 1%. And so I think one, it's because of our small number. And because of that small number, people might think like, oh, you don't matter, right? I would also venture to say it's because of how we see our city, right? We are a very Black-white city and have been that way for a long time, even though we see increasing numbers of Asian Americans, of Latinos in our city, as well as other ethnicities. But I would say my best guess would be simply because of the number or the small number of Asian Americans in our community.
That's that to me is very interesting. So when you started to kind of formulate all of these plans in your head, you started to take on, the terrific opportunity to be able to put together a month of recognition. How were you greeted with that, with the individuals that you approached about doing, various events and other things in reference to this? How were people, when you brought this out, what did people say about it?
Yeah, so I mean, it was mixed, right? Some people were absolutely enthusiastic and on board. So, for example, when I approached the folks at Good Fortune, Sarah Kai and her partner Arturo, they were absolutely on board immediately. And they were an amazing partner. We did our opening kickoff for the month at Good Fortune. And that was an example of someone who was extremely enthusiastic. The same with the National Civil Rights Museum and their Unpacking Racism for Action program. They were 100% on board. And so that made me really excited. On the other hand, there were groups in the community who were like, I don't think this is important. Or, people were skeptical because they'd never seen a month of celebration happen before. And so, I think sometimes it's difficult for people to imagine, a reality that they hadn't yet experienced.
Yeah.
And that's fine. I knew that this was something that had to happen. And so it didn't matter if people were on board or not. And as we see, we had a wonderful month of celebration. And in the end, folks are really excited to see everything that happened and felt very much seen and heard and a part of our broader community.
So not only to be seen and to be heard and to be recognized, but really, I would imagine opening a lot of people's eyes out in our city who just didn't know and who just didn't realize. That probably for you, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but had to be probably one of the most gratifying. That when it was over, as the people that came up to you and said, "SunAh, this was amazing." I mean, really, we didn't know, we didn't understand, but we really embraced that. That must have been very gratifying for you, no?
Absolutely. And you're correct. For a lot of people, they weren't aware that May is a National Heritage Month, right? We're here in Memphis, so Memphis in May takes over a lot of the bandwidth for this city.
Sure.
But for people to learn and to celebrate and to feel connected with other community members, that was really the goal. And so hearing people really be excited, and so many people said, I've been looking for something like this, or I've wanted, something like this in the city. And so that made me feel very happy.
You mentioned that as it stands right now, somewhere around 2% of the population is Asian American, Pacific Islander. I would imagine that the folks in that circle, when informed about the fact that this month was going to be celebrated here, we're very much embracing of the opportunity to be a part of it and really enjoy all of this.
Absolutely. And, still, I will be very honest with you. Some people were not excited because they'd never seen it happen. And so when I said that earlier, that goes across races and ethnicities as far as that initial reaction, where some people were super excited and other people, again, were skeptical because they had never seen it done. And, I think after a while, when you have been ignored and not visible or not seen and celebrated, you can start to think that is just, that's just how things go. And it can be difficult to embrace the opportunity to, to be seen and to be celebrated. But like I said, in the end, I think that people were very happy.
So now that you, the first one was done, it was very successful from what I'm to understand. Now you're going to prepare for year number 2 next year, and I'm sure I'm already predicting that you're going to have more partners and more individuals wanting to be a part of putting all this together than you can probably even imagine. So you got to be looking forward to what comes next.
Absolutely. Of course. I mean, I am already in planning mode. I started planning last month. So yes, as year 1 was happening, I was already planning for year 2. And, now people know, they have an idea of what's possible. And people are, for folks who needed to see it before they could believe it, you've seen it. And now, as you stated, more partners coming on board, more folks who are excited about what we can all do together for year 2 and beyond.
So before I let you go, we talked about your show, which comes on Mondays. It's called Let's Grab Coffee. Am I correct?
Yeah, Let's Grab Coffee.
Let's Grab Coffee. So was the concept as simple as the title? I mean, you wanted to, when you approached the station about this or vice versa, to do this type of show, what was your focus?
My original focus was to be able to catch up with experts from across the country who are answering the questions about our social world that, questions we have about why are things the way they are, or maybe even questions we didn't know we had. And of course, tying that into Memphis, right? So of course, always bringing it back to our community here in Memphis and what's happening, in our city. Some of the main issues that are happening across the country or in other big cities are, of course, happening, in our city as well. So I wanted to give listeners an opportunity to get informed opinion about some of these social issues. So we've talked about health, talked about religion, talked about policing, talked about friendships, right? A range of topics, and really excited to be able to, again, provide research, provide data to some of these conversations.
Well, it's a great show. It really is very informative and very enjoyable. You do a nice job. I tell you what, SunAh Laybourn, you are very impressive. You truly are. And I'm glad that we were able to coordinate this and get you on the show, because I really wanted to talk about what happened last month. I'm very proud of you, as I'm sure many people are. And hey, you're always welcome back here to Real Talk.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's been such an honor to chat with you tonight. I'll
talk to you soon. You take care, okay?
All right, you too.
Bye-bye. That was a great interview. I really enjoyed that. And she's really impressive. And I tell you what, last month's... there we go. I was hitting mics and knocked stuff off. Last month's events were very well received, and we wish her the best of luck in the future. We'll take another break. And when we come back, we will continue for this Monday evening right here. It's Real Talk Memphis. I'm Chip. We'll be right back.
If you like Real Talk, here's a way you can get involved. Do you have a show topic idea or suggestion? Want to be considered a guest or have a guest idea? Then send Chip a message on his Real Talk show page and you can be a part of the Real Talk experience. So as he always says, go out and tell somebody. We'll be right back.
Church Health's Memphis Plan continues its decades-long commitment to serving local musicians with comprehensive health care and also tailors its focus to small business owners and the self-employed. Healthcare through the Memphis Plan provides care in Memphis for Memphians. Related services include preventative health, optometry, dental care, and more. More information regarding availability at memphisplan.org or at 901-272-PLAN.
Did you know you could donate your vehicle and support WYXR at the same time? We offer free pickup and it's tax deductible. Go to cars.wyxr.org to donate your car today.
The Sunset Jazz at Court Square concert series is back every second Sunday, May through October, featuring Memphis's top jazz artists at 62 North Main in downtown Memphis. More information and the lineup are available at sunsetjazzmemphis.com.
Get Real Talk on the TuneIn mobile app under WYXR, and he's now streaming live on Facebook. And you can also catch a rebroadcast on YouTube. Just put WYXR in the search box and hit subscribe. Now back to more Real Talk with Chip Washington.
And welcome back to Real Talk Memphis on this Monday evening in the city. Chip with you, and we talked about this at the outset of the show. Blue Oval City is the biggest manufacturing project, I believe, in Tennessee history. 6,000 future employees out there in Haywood County, Stanton area, and of course. Now we're starting to, figure out the land situation and how much land they're going to get. And, of course, there's another equation to all of this. There's a lot of black farmers, in the area who have had land in that particular area for generations. I mean, these go back quite a ways. And as we get into negotiations and the building process, there are a lot of components to this. And that little town in Stanton and the surrounding areas is going to be completely transformed with retail and wholesale and stores and homes and the whole 9 yards. And, there's a particular organization that wants to make sure that folks are informed and they understand exactly what their rights are in this project, and more importantly, how they can become a part of it. In terms of creating wealth and otherwise. So we invited to the show Thomas Burrell. Thomas is the president of Black Farmers and Agriculturists Associated. And Thomas, it's great to see you, and it's great to have you on Real Talk tonight.
Chip, thank you for having us. We appreciate you for giving us the opportunity to help to put into perspective, as you said, the economic development opportunities. There's a smorgasbord. There's a plethora. There are a lot of opportunities at the retail level, at the distribution level or logistics. People are going to be needing houses. People are going to be needing apartments, warehouses. Yeah. We want our members to understand, members of the Black Farmers and Agriculturalists Association, even though, Chip, the state may need to use some of your land to annex your land for the benefit of a highway. But the question is the glass half empty or is it half full? Now, we're saying that whatever land that you have left as a result of this brand new 4-lane highway, meaning now they've made the remainder of that property more accessible. What we're talking about, Chip, is generational wealth. You can't have generational wealth if you sell. You only have generational wealth if you maintain and develop. Historically, we have been selling land. In 1910, African Americans owned 16 million acres of land. Mm-hmm. About 20 million acres of land, to be correct. We've lost about 15 million acres. So we still have the equivalent of about 4 or 5 million acres collectively, Chip. That's about 25 to 40 billion dollars with the B, Chip. So what we're saying is when we see this pattern, Chip, of automobile manufacturers moving south, 60 years ago, who would have imagined that Ford would be in Stanton, Tennessee? Yeah. People in Stanton, Tennessee left the cotton fields going to Detroit, to work for Ford. Now we see that General Motors has moved to Spring Hill. Volkswagen is coming to Chattanooga. Nissan is in Smyrna. Ford is in Brownsville. We go down to Alabama. We see Toyota, Nissan, Mercedes-Benz, Hyundai. There is a paradigm shift, Chip. They're moving into our relative backyard where we own land now.
Yeah.
When we went north to Detroit, we were providing labor. Sure, they're going to need labor. They're going to need 6,000 to 7,000 employees, but they're also going to need land. And as you said, that land is going to give us an opportunity now. Chip, one other point. The problem that we have in the African-American community is most of our land is owned by heirs. That is to say, granddad left 100 acres,
Right.
200 acres. He died without a will.
Right.
And therefore, because there are multiple owners, there is no governing body, it is hard for a corporation to do business with an unincorporated entity. So our theme, Chip, is we have to A, incorporate, and B, collaborate. And that's what we're trying to get the landowners in that part of the country today. And that's what we were meeting about.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that. You did have a meeting this morning at a church, with several. I saw some pictures, with several of the black farmers, giving them, not only providing them with information as you just so eloquently provided, but also giving them the chance to ask you questions as well as to what is their next move. How do they move forward in this? Some of the things that they may not know now that they are going to need to know later, which proved to be a very valuable session this morning, I take it?
Yes. One of the main questions was from a lady. She says, I want to do everything you're talking about. We own land. My family owns land, but we don't know how to do this. Who's going to help us? So there needs to be advocacy component. And that is to say, even if the average person wants to incorporate in order to collaborate, the average person will not have the expertise to collaborate and negotiate contracts with a multi-billion-dollar corporation. So the Black Farmers and Agriculturalists Association, we have a history of advocating and dealing with complex litigation with our attorneys, i.e. the Black Farmers lawsuit that we settled with the Department of Agriculture. So this is not, for the sake of lack of a better phrase, our first rodeo. We understand advocacy. We understand pooling resources. So therefore, what we want our members to be, though, is to get them ready. Forward here again, every single person or entity who is going to make some of that $5.6 billion chip, they have one thing in common. They are incorporated. So we had African-American businessmen here today from Indiana. We had individuals here from Alabama who are already doing business with the automobile industry with their suppliers. So for instance, if you have 10 acres, you may need to pool that with your neighbor because the corporations, Ford and others and their suppliers are going to be more prone to dealing with the person who will have a block. And this is where the collaboration and the incorporation comes into being. And as we said, this is an opportunity. We know we have some grievances, but first and foremost, Chip, we want to make sure we take advantage of the opportunities that are inherent in this mega project.
Absolutely. This is an extraordinary bit of business here. And I think that, as it gets closer, as the construction starts to, we all start to see the tangibility of the bulldozers and the tractors and everything, and groundbreaking, the whole 9 yards. These are very important questions. But more importantly, I think knowledge is power is what I hear you say in everything that you're saying. Knowledge is power. And the more you understand how this works, the more when someone eventually comes to you and wants to do business, you are already sort of armed with maybe some of the questions that you need to ask in front of all of this to make sure, as you say, that you are included in the process. and also available to the great wealth possibilities that come from a project, because it's not just the plant. Like you said earlier, it's everything around it. That 4-lane highway, which is going to be huge, and a lot of other things as well, right?
Yes, you're quite right. And that's what we're saying. We know there are some grievances, but in order to facilitate the growth and the potential of a $6 billion operation, you got to have highways, you have roads and bridges. But the state taking from you, or are they putting you in a position to where what you have remaining?
Yeah.
If you develop that now, you used to be, in other words, Ford has taken you out of the cotton business and put you in the car business by virtue of their proximity to you. Okay? So now you are going to look at a different crop. You were growing cotton, you were growing soybeans and corn, you had livestock. Ford has moved next door to you. General Motors is moving next door to you and all of their suppliers. Now you're in another industry. You're in your crop now will be warehouses. Your crop will be apartment complexes. Other individuals are going to do it. It's inevitable. The point is, why shouldn't people, Chip, who own the land for 5 or 6 generations, now sell that land and have their grandchildren to come up and say, well, you know what, where that Hampton Inn is now, where that warehouse is, where those $1 million homes are now, my grandmama and granddaddy used to own that land. So when we talk about generational wealth, Chip, no, we're going to create another crop. There's a paradigm shift here. We're going to shift gears. We're not going to sell. We're going to incorporate, collaborate, and develop to make sure we have generational wealth.
Well, I got to tell you something. It all sounds really, really good to me, and I am really happy that you took some time to come on the show tonight, talk to some of our listeners about all of this. This is extraordinarily important stuff. Thomas Burrell, President of Black Farmers and Agriculturalists Association of America. Thank you, man, for coming on the show. I really appreciate you. I learned a lot in this conversation. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chip. Thank you for having us.
You're welcome, and you have a good evening. And I look forward to seeing what this is going to be all about, ladies and gentlemen, as time moves forward. As he said, this is a chance to, to be a part of something much bigger than yourself. We're going to take our final break of the broadcast. When we come back, as I said at the top of the show, this is Black Music Month. And of course, we have a little group here called the Memphis Music Initiative. And what do those two things have in common, along with Kit Kat? I know you're scratching your head. We'll explain when we come back. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
If you like Real Talk, here's a way you can get involved. Do you have a show topic idea or suggestion? Want to be considered a guest or have a guest idea? Then send Chip a message on his Real Talk show page and you can be a part of the Real Talk experience. So as he always says, go out and tell somebody. We'll be right back.
The Sunset Jazz at Court Square concert series is back every second Sunday, May through October, featuring Memphis's top jazz artists at 62 North Main in downtown Memphis. More information and the lineup are available at sunsetjazzmemphis.com.
You're listening, but are you in the know? The WYXR weekly newsletter is the best source for keeping up with events at WYXR. Whether they are happening on our airwaves, behind the scenes, or out in the community. Log on to newsletter.wyxr.org to sign up for our mailing list and keep yourself in the loop.
WYXR is community radio, so why not help us spread our sound through the community? Be a part of our growth by sharing our station and our mobile app with a friend. Visit us at WYXR_Memphis on social and tag your closest pals. Let someone you love know about 91.7 FM. It's easy. Our sound is made just for you, so let's make it louder.
Get Real Talk on the TuneIn mobile app under WYXR, and he's now streaming live on Facebook. And you can also catch a rebroadcast on YouTube. Just put WYXR in the search box and hit subscribe. Now back to more Real Talk with Chip Washington.
Yeah. Welcome back to Real Talk Memphis on this Monday evening. Chip with you. And, this is Black Music Month, and music is a big deal here in our city. And there's an organization that I think that they do, an amazing job in really incorporating music to our Black and brown population. There's a lot that goes into all of this. But there's also something very special, about Black Music Month in reference to this group. And I wanted to have a conversation about that. Please welcome to the show, Miss Amber Hamilton. Amber, it's nice to see you this evening. Welcome.
So great to see you, Chip. I'm so excited to talk about Black Music Month. So thanks for having me on.
Absolutely that. So, for the uninformed, June is Black Music Month. What does that mean to you, and what should that mean to other folks?
Well, in my heart, every month is Black Music Month.
There you go. There you go.
In terms of nationally, it's a great time to recognize all of the achievements, all that Black artists have not only produced for our culture, but really contributed worldwide to the diaspora. Mm-hmm. When you look at so many American music forms, whether that be jazz, gospel, R&B, even country music, at the root of all of those genres is Black folks. So this is a time for us to kind of memorialize that, but also make sure our young people, our children kind of know that history and have a sense of pride about that, but also think about what they are going to contribute to kind of the next generation of Black music makers. So it's a time to look in the past, but it's also very much a time to look forward and inspire our youth to create their own mark.
Absolutely, that. And of course, we're living in a city that is absolutely steeped in Black music history, and I don't know that they realize how lucky they are. But for those of people who don't know, you have a particular mission. Your organization has a particular mission, and it really is to encompass Black and brown children into understanding how important music is and how important they could be, as you said earlier, to music in the future. Talk a little bit about that.
Absolutely. So as you well know, this city is just overflowing with musical genius.
Absolutely.
Although we have contributed, really across the world, we have literally created soundtracks that have changed the world from people from this city. Mm-hmm. And our young people are absolutely part of that lineage. So the Memphis Music Initiative really is focused on transformative music engagement, music instruction, creative liberation for our Black and brown youth across the city. And how we do that is engaging them both in school time and then also during the summertime. We have a great cohort going on right now. So our goal really is to make sure that tradition of Memphis musicians continues and that they are invested in and poured into and supported so that, the world is just waiting for kind of the next level of talent and the next generation of Memphis music talent, Memphis creatives. And so we want to really make sure our young people are ready for that.
Do you think with all the work that you do in school and more importantly, in the after school sessions, that these young kids really understand just how important this is, and more importantly, how they can be, as you said a couple of times, the next? It is so important to cultivate and groom the generation. Do they understand how important that is? And do they embrace that philosophy that you all teach?
It's very interesting. I will say I've lived many places in my life, and Memphis is one of the few places where you can talk to a young person. They'll say, oh yeah, my mom used to sing with this one, and then my dad plays drums with this one, and then my uncle, they had these huge, thorough music legacies in their own family, and they don't know how special that is.
Oh, wow.
They don't know how rare that is. They don't know that you can't just go anywhere and find that. That's a Memphis thing.
Mm-hmm.
So what I find is that our young people don't understand kind of how special their music talents are. So, for example, we every year host HBCU virtual band auditions where young people can audition from their homes and connect with many, HBCU band directors and audition. And so many times we have to kind of really pull them and encourage them to do the audition because they don't think they're good enough. And then we talk to the band directors who are like, are you kidding? That kid is amazing.
Yeah.
So it's like, they take it for granted. They don't know how special they are. And they just need that encouragement and that investment to know that their gifts and their talents are so special.
All you have to do is mention Tennessee State University. They're the first black college in this country ever to win a Grammy. If that doesn't do it for you in terms of that part of it, I don't know what will.
Absolutely. That just speaks to that Mississippi Delta mud. There's something in it.
You got it. You absolutely have it. Okay. So we move through the fundamentals here. I want to know about this affiliation with Kit Kat Bar, the Kit Kat Bar, and the affiliation with your organization in it. And when is the bus coming by? But start from the beginning.
Yeah. So this is actually our second year that we have been partnered with the Hershey Company, and we have had the amazing privilege of being featured on Kit Kat wrappers sold across the country.
Wow.
They are highlighting Memphis music as a hub, as an anchor of Black music for Black Music Month, which is so special because we deserve to be highlighted. We deserve to stand out. So this is our second year. We're actually one now of 6 cities being highlighted on this, but we want to, of course, blow it out here in Memphis. So there will be a party bus coming on Thursday, hitting various spots around the city. We're going to be at Crosstown. We're going to be in Overton Square. We're going to be in Stolesville. We're going to be downtown. And we will be giving away these Kit Kat bars that have the Memphis kind of music, beautiful artwork by Memphis's own Mia Sane, an artist here.
Yeah.
So giving those bars away to people and celebrating Memphis Music Month. And we'll be playing a special song that was created by some young Memphis musicians and some Memphis musicians and legends in the making. So it's going to be awesome.
That is a very, very big deal. It truly, truly is to be nationally recognized by the Hershey organization, not once but twice.
Exactly.
And be featured on the Kit Kat label. You're riding around in a bus that's going to celebrate all that. That's big stuff there, Miss Amber. You guys might actually be doing something down here at MMI.
We're trying, but all we're doing is highlighting all the amazing work that Memphis creatives put out every day. Yeah. They're the ones that are really, special and deserve this shine and deserve this attention.
Well, look, our heartiest congratulations here. I thought this was really when I first read about this and started to look into it, I was very, very impressed with really the level of commitment, not only by your team, by your staff, but more importantly, the real desire, passion, and interest of these young people to maybe be the next big thing coming out of Memphis, Tennessee, which ain't no joke, which ain't small potatoes, as they say.
Oh, no. The tradition is strong here. And these young people, the things that they are coming up with and putting together would just blow your wig back. So we want to support them. We want to, kind of encourage them and just as a community, show them some love as well. And
that's the most important, that we all get behind them as a community, because this is the future and this is what we need to be doing. Absolutely. Amber Hamilton, look, I am really thrilled to have a chance to sit and talk to you. You are the executive director of the Memphis Music Initiative, doing a wonderful job. Thanks for coming on the show, and you're welcome back anytime.
Thank you so much for having me, and happy Black Music Month to everybody.
Absolutely that. Thank you so much, Amber. You take care. We'll talk to you down the road. Listen, that was look, let me tell you something. Stand behind these young people because they could be the very next big thing in our city. Lord knows we have had, she said earlier, we had a big history. We have a huge history here of music. This is a legendary city in and of itself in terms of that. So I love what MMI is doing. That's a great organization, and I really appreciate it. This has been a great show tonight. Again, we are praying that those of you who don't have power, yet that lost power, will get it restored sooner rather than later. MOGW is moving pretty quickly in terms of all of this, trying to get folks reestablished. I'm going to take a quick peek here before I get out of here to see what the number is at present. And let's see here. We're down to 71,090 people without power. That map is slowly shrinking. It was 120,000 yesterday, and again, they're doing a pretty good job of restoring power. And again, we hope sooner rather than later. Before I get out of here, I have to acknowledge I've done this before, but I'll do it again because the two young ladies that have worked on this show, and I think Lola sent me a text the other day, something that popped up in her box. They've been here about 2 years, both of them have, with me, and very creative and talented ladies both. Nicole has a show called Planet Chrome, which airs on this fine radio station Friday nights at midnight. And she plays, a great variety of music, and Bryn has heard the show, and I catch the rebroadcast because at midnight, on Friday nights I'm asleep. That's how exciting a life I live outside this radio station. And of course, Lola just started her show a couple of weeks ago. So listen, if you're having a particularly stressful Monday, and you're winding down, and you're looking at the clock, and it's getting about 5 o'clock or so, and you're off. Hit the on button on 91.7 to hear Level Lola. She takes you to a whole nother level in terms of music and mixing and things like that. And I was in here earlier this evening during her show, and I don't know any of the artists that she played. Well, maybe one or two. But she does a really, really good job with that. Both these ladies do a very, very good job. So shameless plug. Brent and I don't play music other than maybe we'll be playing on the radio, but we don't have that talent, but they do. So support the ladies' show. Support their show because, hey, they're on this show, so you need to support their show. All right, as Brent plays this out, it has been a really good Monday. And again, my heart and my concern is for you, all of you out there, the 70,000 plus, as I read here, that 71,000 who are still without power. We know it's hot. It's uncomfortable. A lot of us had to deal with it, yours included, yours truly. But pray that you will be restored sooner rather than later. Thank you for supporting this show and appreciating what we do. If you like what we do, please tell other folks about it so maybe they'll check us out as well. So until next time, until we meet again, for Nicole, for Lola, for Bryn, I'm Chip. Please be safe. Please be careful out there. Watch out for yourself because others may not be watching out for you. And if the Lord says so, I'll be here next week, same time, same station, and we'll do it all over again. Maybe just a little bit better. Until then, we're out. See you later.